Rory Callum, who is a lifelong friend and will probably always be a lifelong friend of mine, who we went to school together, played in school together, played at the academy together, and played first few years BBL together at Surrey. And I also managed to get him on the London City Royals roster as well, just because, you know, it was close to him. We needed bodies and stuff. Started off basketball, but it's become more family. You know, his mum's practically my mum, my family. You know, he's welcome to my house without even me being present, sort of thing. But he's definitely one of my closest friends. Another friend of mine that's really good is Will Neighbour. We're really close. We talk about everything. We've lived together, and he's definitely someone I'd consider a very good and a best friend, you know, through the sport for sure. And lastly would have to be Jules Dangakoda from the Lions from this season. Not just because, you know, we played together at Royals, but I've known him a bit before, and it was always mutual respect back and forth, especially when we was younger. We talk about how our games are going, and we give each other advice in terms of, you know, what we see from watching each other's games. And, you know, I support him as much as the Lions, and I'm sure, you know, he's the same back. He watches all of our games. You know, growing up leaving Albania from young and then growing up in London, I tend to only grow up around the London music. So for me, it definitely have to be a UK artist or music. Would have to be either D Block Europe, who I'm currently probably giving them #1 hits every time they release a song because of how much I play them. And I'm also a big fan on M Huncho. I'm not sure if many people know. You know, he's someone who his story is not really similar to mine, but he's someone who likes to be very discreet. At the same time, he's, you know, really good with his music, but he doesn't like to mix the two. He wears a mask so nobody recognizes him on the street, and I just think that's cool. I like the thought of, all right, well, you can be excellent in this. At the same time, it doesn't have to affect your personal life. Like, you know, you could go to a restaurant and sit down with your kids and family and not be approached and be, you know, you're this guy, you're this, and just live a life. I'm a heavy on action and thriller. You know, I'm big on action and thriller. Definitely not horror, because I struggle to sleep after watching it. But definitely action for myself and thriller as well. It's one of my dad's favorite movies. And when we was obviously young, growing up, we'd always just kind of watch whatever's on. But my dad would always be in charge of the remote because, you know, he's the man of the house. So we'd watch a movie, Double Impact. It's with Jean-Claude Van Damme, where he's got a twin brother and their parents get murdered when they're babies and they grow up. So it's my all-time favorite, and it's my dad's favorite movie as well. So, you know, I think that for me would definitely be my most memorable. I left when I was 5-6 years old, obviously because of the circumstances going on. It's home for me. My entire family's there, you know, with the exception of my mum, my dad, and my 2 brothers. Nothing beats home, you know, having your grandparents and your parents and seeing your parents happy with their parents. It's just like a weird feeling, especially because it happens, you know, for 2 weeks of the year. You go back home for maybe a month max, or 2 weeks, depending on your schedule. I'm from Tropoi, Albania, which is, you know, the same city in Taken. So a lot of times when Taken was first come out, everyone's like, oh, where are you from? Tropoi? Oh, Marco from Tropoi. It's like, no, definitely not Marco, but yeah, it's sort of the same little town, same little city. You know what I would honestly change in basketball if I could? I would provide more opportunity, if I'm being honest. Like, there's loads of opportunity out there for sure, but I would provide more opportunity. I'd provide more jobs, somewhere where guys can learn. Guys can, you know, they can learn the right way of playing. Like anyone, it's easy to go to a kid and say, you know, do 20 wall taps with a ball and your dribbling is going to be immense. But it's somewhere learning, like the coach is learning from somewhere where it's provided. Like in Europe, Lithuania, for example, they've got Žalgiris, top level. They're under 23s, under 18s, under 16s. They all have the exact same philosophy. They all have the same principles. So, you know, you play for an under 16s program, you get taught where to be in help side defense. You get taught how to close out. You get taught what's next, and you work your way up to 18s, and it's already in your mind. You know, just creating more opportunities for people, giving young guys the chance to play, giving, you know, having that, maybe trying to build up the UK to have the same respect the basketball has around Europe. my biggest concern and regret would probably be that I didn't explore going out to America. You know, the second I turned 17 turning 18, for me it was cool. I was in the BBL, and then I knew it. My head was locked in. It's just one of them: secure a good contract and play good. Secure a good contract and play good. Secure a good contract and play good. Whereas the older I've gotten, the more I've realised, well, having that American college status on your resume it gives you that extra advance in terms of salary. In terms of working hard, it's easy to say, you know, work harder and stay locked in, keep motivated. But I feel when I was young, from the age of 16 or even earlier, to be honest with you, all the way up until even to date, like I've always had that work ethic of it's basketball. Like, yes, it's my job, but I'm loving my job at the same time. So no one's gonna force me to go and train for 2 hours and then put another 2 hours by myself. You know what I mean? Like that's enjoyable. Like I do it to get paid. Why don't I do it for fun as well? Like it's a healthy lifestyle. It's enjoyable, and you look great at the same time as well. So, but yeah, for me it'd be definitely don't ever cheat the grind. I've got my own merchandise with Always Balling, which is one of our little mantras is don't cheat the grind. You know, so definitely that'd be something that I'd always drill into my head. You know, you can't cheat the game. Like, what's the name of the actor? He's like a really old school actor. Like my dad watches all of his movies. Is not Sylvester Stallone. It's Chuck Norris. Do you remember Chuck Norris? Yeah. So I would love for my dad to have been Chuck Norris, just because if there's ever, like, we'd never get the TV remote if Chuck Norris movie was on, or one of them guys. So yeah, I'd love for my dad to have been Chuck Norris or something. He's a big fan of him, and I don't know, it might have just made him happy, I guess.